Lou, you may relate to this more than Matt, but there was an old TV show, Kids Say the Darndest Things. And
wait. Why would I relate to this more than Matt? Walk me through this.
Your audience knows. I don't need to spell that out. I mean, your nickname is the Professor. You have to be a gentleman of a certain stature to have a nickname like the Professor.
He's trying to be nice.
Well said. Well said. He saved himself there.
Let's
go!
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Liquid Launch Project. I am Matt the Army Hand alongside my partner, the Professor Luigi Rosabianca. What's on tap today, Lou?
Matt, all our guests are special, but this week it's going to be a little bit extra special. Today we have Jake Isaacs. Jake is a serial integrator, mastermind leader, and operator who brings clarity to overwhelmed entrepreneurs. Yes, that's all of us, listeners. Jake, welcome to the podcast, and tell us a little bit about Gathering the Kings, your mastermind.
Guys, thanks for having me. Really excited to be here. Gathering the Kings it's an entrepreneurial community. It's a mastermind community where high-performing entrepreneurs from all different types of businesses can come together, share in community, and help each other grow. We are very, very interested in making sure that through success in business, we don't lose sight of our families and making sure that we are building unto the thing that we want to build for. You know, most people get into business for freedom and time and for their family, but over the course of the process of building, they get buried in the doing and they forget why they're doing it. So,
Jake, you're very kind by saying you just run a mastermind, but like wine, there's $2 Chuck and then there's a beautiful Barolo. And your mastermind is more like that beautiful Barolo. Why would entrepreneurs that are listening today, and like Matt and I, why do we need to join Gathering the Kings?
Yeah, whether it's Gathering the Kings or another type of community, Lou, it's important that business owners have community. We are huge fans of Gino Wickman and the EOS system. And in Traction, Gino talks about every entrepreneur needing three things. They need a coach, they need a system to run their business on, and then they need a community that can help support them. And Gathering the Kings is that community that can help support them. You know, most entrepreneurs are the black sheep in their area or their family. They're not understood. They're the ugly duckling that most people can't relate to. The pressure and stress that it takes to run a business, the cojones it takes to get up every single day and work hard to face your fears and provide for others is unrelatable to most people that are working a standard 9 to 5. And so being able to be in a room of other entrepreneurs, whether you have their exact same type of business or not, game recognizes game, and you understand the stress and pressure that they've overcome to be in that environment with you. And there's just an automatic relatability when you get together.
So what made you actually start Mastermind, or are you involved in several of them as well?
Yeah, great question. My business partner was running a high-level sales and coaching class for sales leaders, and was just constantly getting asked questions around leadership and business development. And he was having these one-on-one conversations with some of his sales clients around business development, business ownership. And he's like, oh my gosh, this guy needs to meet this guy. I'm having these amazing conversations behind closed doors, and they need to know each other. And just kind of from him running this sales coaching course, the Gathering the Kings was born out of that.
That's awesome.
So you also lead a group called Generation Next. What's that?
Yeah. It's our youth entrepreneurship program, right? I believe that the current education system in the United States of America is doing a really piss poor job of helping kids think independently and creating an environment for the next generation of entrepreneurs and creators in our country. And so Generation Next is just our attempt to pour a little fire and a little on the younger generation, helping teach them money management skills, helping to teach them mindset skills, entrepreneurship skills, and to reinforce the things that they're probably hearing their mom and dad talk about around the dinner table. I don't know if you can relate to this, Matt, but growing up, I never wanted to hear what my dad had to say. But if my cool next door neighbor said it, it carried so much more weight, even if it was the exact same thing. And so my business partner, Chaz, and I try to be that cool next door neighbor for a lot of our members' families.
Isn't it funny how that happens?
Well, Matt, there's that old saying, when I was 18 years old, my dad was an idiot. Exactly. When I was 25, he started making a little bit of sense. By the time I was 35, my dad was pretty smart. He really progressed.
Listen, that is why I get my 18-year-old neighbor to tell my 14-year-old daughter what she should be doing and not me.
For sure. Yeah.
What's the age group of your generation next, Jake?
Yeah. So we have students as young as 6 years old and as old as 19 years old in the program.
Well, you start them young.
Yep. And, the things that we're doing with the 6, 7, 8-year-olds are certainly a lot different than what we're doing with our 14, 15, 16-year-olds. We break them up into two different groups when we're teaching. But we want to make sure that we're starting them young for a reason. We want to encourage money management. We want to encourage leadership. We want to encourage, goal setting. We just did at the top of the year for the brand new year, we did a bunch of goal setting activities with them, and little things like just taking a dry erase marker and writing your word for the year on your bathroom mirror. That way, every single time you walk into your bathroom to brush your teeth, you're being re-encouraged with the thing that you're looking to accomplish that year.
I like that.
So
isn't it funny, Matt? We live in a world where we want everyone to be the same. Like, look at your typical classroom. You've got rows, you've got aisles, everyone lines up in size order, everyone eats the same thing, learns the same thing. Like, you're stunting individuality.
No, you're not. You're institutionalizing people. That's what you're doing at the end of the day. You're institutionalizing.
You're creating good little soldiers.
You're creating people, get in at the bell, leave at the bell, do as I say, memorize this. That is really what school is.
But who would have thought that a mastermind for entrepreneurs would promote such youthful exuberance at such a young age? That's awesome, Jake. Good for you.
I think it's necessary.
It's been such a joy for us. There's a lot of fun for both Chaz and I when we run it with the kids, and Lou, you may relate to this more than Matt, but there was an old TV show, Kids Say the Darndest Things. And
wait. Why would I relate to this more than Matt? Walk me through this.
Your audience knows. I don't need to spell that out. I mean, your nickname is the Professor. You have to be a gentleman of a certain stature to have a nickname like the Professor.
He's trying to be nice.
Well said. He saved himself there.
You look old as fuck, bro.
Yeah. But, just getting into these environments and talking to these young kids about their ideas and letting that creativity run wild, whether it's a 3D printing business that they want to start, or, we've got a young kid that makes protein pancakes for his mom to take to the gym and sell when she works out. And, that's incredible that this little kid is thinking like that and creating a service, right? He is trying to build something where he is providing value to other people.
No, that's awesome. So my daughter is actually she's going into high school, and we had a parents' night the other night, and they show you the classes that they're going to be taking. They have a really cool class. It's called 3D. But what they wind up doing is they bring you behind the scenes of places like Disney, right? And then
that's cool.
That's 1 year. They show you how the operations work, how the culture works. And my 14-year-old goes to me, they were explaining to me that, there's somebody that works at the Four Seasons, and they also have a second job. They're a cook, right? But they really enjoy working at the Four Seasons because management and the team all works together and the culture's right. Where at the other job, he's just there for a paycheck, and how big culture is into where you work. Then the next year, what they wind up doing is they give them a case study, like they're a consultant, and they have to go out and they have to fix it, right? And the fourth year of high school, if they stay with it, they'll get an internship at that company.
Oh, wow.
I think that's
Very
pretty
nice.
cool.
That's really cool. And I wish more places did stuff like that. You know, I was very fortunate. I went to a high school up in Chicago. It was a public school, and we had a program called DECA, and it was a 3 or 4 year program, and we had course curriculum that kind of backed it up. But I learned how to write my first business plan in that class. You know, I learned public speaking.
Mm-hmm.
I had to design merchandise and create end caps for retail stores, and those type of things were just more valuable than anything that I was learning in the science lab or the math lab. And not to take away from those subjects, but you know, with where I am in my life now, I look back. I wish I would have taken Spanish more seriously, and I wish I would have spent more time with my DECA teacher.
Yeah, it's funny. You know, basically they give you a phone book, they tell you to memorize it, and then 90% of that is gone by the time you leave. But it's even like when I started working on Wall Street, right? You go to these classes, you take your Series 7, you memorize the thing, you pass the test. Everything you're learning is theory. It's not the way the world really works, right? It's not the way things are really done. So I think kids have it tough these days, right? I think college is not going to be a necessary step for people moving forward. You know, I think a lot of the stuff that they teach in colleges right now, the way everything's moving, especially if you're in software or AI, by the time you get out of school, it's obsolete.
Yeah, I don't think that we're doing a good job leaning into that software. You know, instead of banning the use of AI in education, we should be teaching kids how to leverage it, how to ask better questions, you know, and how to master those programs. You know, I remember when the TI-82 calculator came out and we weren't allowed to have those in school. And it's the same type of thing. You know, that technology is now just so prevalent that you need to know how to use it.
Well, think about it. It's like telling somebody that, you know, you have to ride a horse every day. Meanwhile, everybody's driving cars,
Right.
right? So
Right.
you're not going to take your horse. You're driving a car. You
Right.
know, if you're not going to learn how to use that car, right? It's useless.
Yeah.
So it's just a tool. So tell me more about the mastermind, right? What type of industries and business owners do you have in there? Are they from all walks of life? Are they from Maine to California? Is it really dialed in geographically?
Yeah, great question. No, we are just totally open. We're not industry specific at all. We've got members from all different walks of life in all different areas of the United States. The one common thread that our members possess, though, is that they're family minded. Kind of the phrase that we use as a filter is grateful but not done. We want
I like
people
that.
who are thankful for what they've accomplished, but realize that there's another level to get to, that there's always more that you can drive towards and strive towards.
I like that saying. I'm going to use it.
Yeah.
So when somebody first joins your mastermind, right? Are they thrown in with everybody else, and you just start from there? Is there a curriculum behind it that they go to? Like, what do you guys teach? What do you talk about? I know you mentioned something about having 4 pillars. Why don't we let the audience in on that?
Yeah. Believe that every business, regardless of what the widget is or the service is, every business owner needs to master 4 skills: operations, sales and marketing, leadership and people, and finance. And so a lot of the things that we talk about from a tactical level inside of our mastermind program revolve around those 4 pillars. But Matt, I want to make a distinction here, because the word mastermind has really become a very buzzy and bastardized word in our vernacular now.
Agreed.
Like, a true mastermind is not a coaching program. A true mastermind is not a curriculum, right? The phrase mastermind was coined by Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich. And the concept of a mastermind is when 2 or more minds come together in harmony unto the chief aim or achievement of something. That is the mastermind principle. And so really the power of our mastermind, it's not me, it's not my business partner Chaz, it's the fantastic members that we have inside of the organization that have a heart to pour in and be humble to ask questions.
I love that.
And
I love it.
I'm sorry. To answer your question specifically, when someone joins the Mastermind program, yes, we have an onboarding process. We're going to help them get the lay of the land. We're going to introduce them to some people. We're going to try to make those connections as seamless as possible, because let's be honest, making friends as an adult is hard, right? And so we want to try to remove some of those barriers and help people to get to know each other, and then just encourage them to show up, right? We've got to build relationships. And in order to build relationships, you need to be present. You need to show up and be attentive.
That is 100% correct, and me and Luigi will always say that relationships are the most important thing in life, right?
Sure.
It's really what it comes down to.
But the underlying tenet to what you're saying is time. Like, why do I still relate to my high school buddies? We spent thousands of hours together, thousands, right? I've known Matt for years. I haven't spent thousands of hours together, right? Because we're so busy running around, right? So you don't, as a mature adult, you don't have that time. The segue there is, how do you engage your members of the mastermind to attend all the sessions, the meetings? You have wonderful travel groups. You have Zoom sessions, in-person sessions. I mean, it's a big time obligation. So is that part of the criteria where you make it mandatory, or is it, hey, attend when you can?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not mandatory, Lou, to answer your question directly. It's a come as you are situation. The people that we find have the most successful businesses tend to show up more, right? The people that are struggling are the ones that are paying for the program and checking the box, but they're not actually participating. And so they're not getting any value for what they're participating in, right? And so time management is the number one skill an adult can hold. I don't care if you're a business owner. I don't care if you're on Wall Street. I don't care if you're the trash guy. If you don't have good time management, your life is total chaos, right? And unfortunately, as business owners, we have poor time management just in general, because as men specifically, and I'm speaking, directly to your men listeners, we like the dopamine hit that comes from being the hero. We like the dopamine hit that comes from solving the problems. And so more often than not, what we see is business owners don't work themselves out of a position in their business where the business can run without them. They're not willing to delegate and level up leaders inside of their organization because they actually don't want to release the ability to be the problem solver for their people. And until you're willing to let go of that stuff, until you're willing to manage time, until you're willing to delegate leadership inside of your organization, you're never going to be able to control your business. It's going to control you.
See, that's so much more elegant than calling someone a control freak.
No, we see it every day with the businesses that we work with, right? They all say that they want this. They want systems. They want operations, right? They want people to lead from the front. However, they don't put the time in to do it,
right,
or give them the authority, to do what they need to do.
Yeah.
Rather than letting people make mistakes, right? They're going in and fixing everything, right? And nobody's learning that way. And because they're fixing those problems, they're not teaching the person that they need to take over and give control to.
One of the tools that we give all of our members access to is a personality program called the Predictive Index. Mm-hmm. It's a game changer when hiring, but it's also what we ask the members to take when they get started with us. And in the Predictive Index, we are assessing personalities on 4 major personality traits: autonomy, which is your ability to choose or to be self-sufficient; social ability, which is how you interact with the world around you; your pace or speed of movement; and then your conformity, which is how you think about the rules, right? And more often than not, 99% of the members of our mastermind program all chart as high autonomous people, which makes sense. You've got to have some gumption and some ability to I'm just going to make this work, right? I'm going to go do it regardless. And so business owners become business owners because they're great bakers, or they're really smart bankers, or they're a plumber that can do it better and just decided, I can do it better than the guy that I'm working for, so I'm going to go do it better. The problem is they enjoy the doing and they get stuck working in the business and they never elevate their leadership to work on the business. And in order to grow and scale, which is also a very buzzy word right now, your business, you need to be able to get out of the day-to-day operations and work on the business. And working on the business is doing those things that you guys were just talking about, setting up the SOPs, right? Making sure that you're getting things over to your bookkeeper on time, spending time on a weekly basis analyzing your financial reports, right? Most people are used to doing. And so there's a sense of satisfaction that you get when you just when you get the opportunity to go replace that toilet and put in a new wax ring, you get done and you feel accomplished. Most business owners don't feel accomplished after looking at their P&L for an hour.
You know, I'm going to give you a little bit of pushback on that.
Okay.
Right? So, like you said, scaling, SOPs on the business, not in the business. Those are all buzzy words, right? Every guru online uses them.
Yep.
And there's a problem here. And it's a big problem because we see it. And I'll tell you exactly how we see it. Because everybody that has a growing business, guess what? They need capital to grow. We see the financials, right? So we see under the hood. The front might look all pretty, but once you open that hood, we got rust. We have filters that haven't been changed in years, right? And why did this happen? Well, I didn't have the time to do it because I was doing this, right? But at the end of the day, everybody is pushing these gurus and these online coaches are pushing people to get out of the business too soon, right? So you have these 18, 19-year-old, 25, 26, 27-year-old kids coming out of school thinking that they don't have to do any work at all because somebody told them I could hire 3 people and I could walk away and oversee. I'm still a big believer in you need to know how to do at least 75% of the business because if somebody does leave you and you have that team, you're screwed and there's no redundancy.
I don't disagree with you at all on that. I don't think that's pushback. I think that that's wisdom.
Yeah, no, you're both saying the same thing. It's just that you can exit if that business has achieved, let's call it adolescence. You can't leave a business in its infancy, right? It still needs to be, breastfed and nurtured and diaper needs to be changed. But once that business can walk on its own, yeah, sure, go ahead and open up business number 2 or number 5.
Yeah. No, I mean, your ability to, again, I think it goes back to time management, right? The problem that I see most of our clients that come to us in is, hey, I can't make that meeting because I've got to go drive a snowplow. And you're right. Like driving that snowplow right now is going to generate revenue today. Joining the meeting is not going to generate revenue today. And so I understand, but you can't continue to do 100% of the revenue generation tasks all of the time and expect your business to grow because you're not focusing on the other things that it takes to grow a business aside from the strict revenue generation tasks.
Yeah, my point to you is the guy that owns the business doesn't know how to drive the snowplow at all.
Right. No, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think Luigi's right. You have the infantile stages and then you have the adolescence when you can really start thinking about that.
Yeah.
Right? Like one thing we tell people is the first thing that they need to hire and invest in, and it's not an expense, is just a good bookkeeper, right? You have your financials in order, your books are straight, life is going to be a lot easier, credit will come to you, and you will be able to make those proper hires in the future.
I 1000% agree with you. I think that a good bookkeeper and someone that can help a business owner understand the finances is the most important thing. And I think, bookkeeper 1A, 1B is a CPA that can help you do some tax planning as your business grows. Right. But, unfortunately, what I see in my experience is most people are confused by the numbers. And so they're like an ostrich with their head in the sand and they avoid that stuff. And then they get to a point where they're trying to grow the business and they want to talk to someone like you, but they have no reporting to be able to give you for you guys to help them out.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
it goes back to where we started. The fundamental here is the education piece, right? When you educate an entrepreneur on how important financial reporting and accountancy is, then hopefully it resonates. A bell should ring upstairs.
Yeah, we definitely understand that. Most of the people, unfortunately, a lot of the people that we talk to, if we ask them how their business is, you know how they tell us? They check their bank account for the day.
Yeah,
They don't know what their profit margin is. They
right.
don't know what a P&L is, right? And that's not on them. Maybe they can go out. They could definitely fix my toilet. They could build me a big, beautiful house. I can't put a nail in the wall, right? But financial literacy is one of the biggest pieces I think most small to medium sized business owners miss.
Well, I mean, not just small to medium sized business owners. I think people in general. I think that it is one of the most glaring holes in our current education system in general is
Agreed.
financial literacy for our young people as well. You know, in a previous career, I was a fixer for Marriott and Hilton. And so I would bounce around from hotel to hotel, turning around underperforming hotels for both of those systems. And I used to have a class because we still did a lot of very like check heavy type transactions. But I used to have a class for my employees on how to write a check, because the concept of like, this is where the date goes and this is where you sign, like all of that stuff is just so foreign to most of these kids that, are expected to do that stuff, that I had to implement some type of training around that. It was just mind blowing to me.
Hey, let's go back to your generation next. How old do you recommend these young folks to get their first job?
Oh, I mean, as soon as possible.
Okay.
I'm as soon as possible. If you can get a job at 9, 10, 11 years old, I think that it makes total sense, because it's not necessarily about the money that you're making, it's the discipline that you're building, right? It's the responsibility that you're learning how to maintain. So, yeah.
I
Thank
love
you.
that. You guys actually do a really cool thing you were telling us about your mastermind, right? Where you get all the families together and you take a big vacation every year. Why don't you tell the audience about that?
Yeah, thanks. So we do something that's called the Family Mastermind Vacation. And like I said, we're focused on making sure that the entrepreneur, the family-minded entrepreneur, doesn't lose sight of why they're building their business. Most people are building their business for freedom and for their families. And so you get so busy running and building and creating and doing that the family's time, the family aspect of life becomes second fiddle, right? And so we have just carved out time every single summer where the family, so the entrepreneur, their spouse, and their children come together for a week in some type of tropical paradise location, and we network with each other. The kids spend time with each other. We run workshops around marriage, legacy planning, parenting skills. We run those GXT workshops for the children around money management and entrepreneurship skills, how to write a business plan, different things like that. And it's just a really fun time where families from all across the country get to spend the week with each other. You're going to spend vacation or doing something as a family every year. Why not do it with other people that are like-minded?
No, I love that, and I think that's great. I think it's great when, because I've been involved in a lot of masterminds too, right? And ones that I would go to, I would travel once a month for, right? And the families weren't invited; they weren't included, right? So I think bringing families into that aspect is great, right? Because we talk about community, and we're talking about men specifically that are in the mastermind that have issues. Well, don't you think the wives are dealing with the same issues too? Because their husbands aren't home, right? So how do we reframe that and put it in a positive environment? I love it.
Yeah.
And I
Love
think
that.
it supports the entrepreneur, because very rarely will you find a wildly successful entrepreneur, male or female, who does not have a supportive spouse.
No, you're 100% right about that, Lou, right? What most people don't understand is that when you make the decision to start a business, you've made the decision for your family. Whether they're involved or not, you've made the decision for your family. And so making sure that you get their buy-in and that you keep them up to date, right? Like one of the things that we promote is sharing the business goals with your kids. You know, if you've got that big project that you're trying to close, let your kids know about it. If you need to get a bunch of sales this month, let your kids know that that's what daddy's working on or what mommy's working on, because nothing will make you work harder than coming home and your kid asking you, "Hey dad, did you make that sale today?" And you having to look them in the eye and say, "No, you know, I actually I got too busy doing something else."
Hey,
Right?
gents,
Like,
I got to share this proud moment. I haven't even told Matt. Matt and I, we speak 44 times a day and we share everything. But I think Matt called me this weekend on a Sunday or something. And, you know, it was family time. And all of a sudden, my son stopped in his tracks and he just sat down and he didn't do anything. I'm like, and I'm talking to Matt, and I think Matt probably realized I was like quiet for a second. I didn't think anything of it. And when I finished talking, I was like, James, everything okay? He goes, yeah, Dad, that'll work. Dad, that'll work. My wife has taught my son that if he has a work call, leave Daddy alone until he gets off the phone. And that's also my wife's buy-in. She gets it, that
Right.
work is important.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was a proud moment for me.
Yeah, for sure.
I love the fact that he's that way. Can you send him to my house and teach my 11-year-old and my 14-year-old not to
Well,
run
you got
into my
teenagers.
office?
It's a little different.
That's hilarious.
But Jake,
Teenage
thanks so
girls
much
a
for
little
being here. Thanks so much for being here. We want to be respectful of your time. Why don't you tell the audience where they can find you, find out about everything that you guys are doing, the trip that you have going on?
Yeah, if you're looking for more information, head over to gatheringthekings.com. I'm super active on Facebook and LinkedIn at Jake Isaacs. And you can get information about our upcoming events and a little bit more about the Mastermind program at the website.
Jake, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. I do have one question I want to ask you before we run. So you said in a previous life you were a fixer for Marriott and Hilton. What made you get out of the corporate life?
My business partner and I have known each other for about 18 years, longtime buddies. And we've always romanticized the opportunity to do something together. And I just, I was doing a job that I felt really fulfilled in, Matt. I loved the work that I was doing. And I just decided that if I didn't make the opportunity to better myself and to do something with him, I was going to do this for the rest of my life because I was really satisfied in it. And so that's what made me leave the corporate world.
I love it. Jake, thank you so much. Everybody, that's a wrap of the Liquid Lunch Project. We'll catch you on the next episode.
Thanks, everyone.
Let's go!